So, if you are a clinician thinking about stepping into the role of CEO, then there's a conversation that you absolutely cannot skip. And that is the conversation about overhead costs. It's not just about rent, it's not just about a laptop. It's very layered, and there are so many different things that a lot of folks, including myself, may not think about as being part of your expenses until you're actually in it. So I want to break down for you by frequency what you would be looking to pay monthly, quarterly, annually, and as needed. So let's start with your core operating costs or your monthly recurring costs. These are the costs that you can expect to show up every single month, whether you're seeing one client, 0 clients, or 50 clients. So let's start with your electronic medical record health system. That could be Sessions Health, that could be Simple Practice, that could be Therapy Notes. Whichever one you are using, that platform is going to be a recurring monthly subscription. And it's important to keep in mind that these subscriptions, a lot of them are based on how many users or how many clients you have in that program. The two that I have used most recently include Simple Practice and Sessions Health, and both of them, the monthly fee is based on how many providers you have using that program or you have in the system. Whereas other EHR systems might base your monthly fee on how many clients you have in that system. Next, you can expect to pay a monthly fee for a scheduling software. Now, this is only if whatever scheduling software that you decide to use is separate from your EHR system. Most of these medical record systems have a scheduling system embedded into it, but I know that for some folks, they prefer to use something different or to separate it. And if you do that, this is also going to be a monthly recurring expense. The next one is going to be a fax service. We are in the medical field, and so things have to be HIPAA compliant. And if you are also insurance-based, then you know, or you will very quickly find out that a lot of the communication that you have with these insurance companies are going to happen through fax. And I know in today's time, 2025, most people aren't even thinking about faxes or fax machines. Organizations are still using them. And so we have a fax system that we use, and you want to use one that is HIPAA compliant. Your next recurring monthly cost is going to be the credit card processing fee. So whether that's Square, Stripe, Ivy Pay, whichever one it is, expect to pay that recurring monthly fee. Now, if you have a physical location, a brick and mortar, an office space, these next set of things that I'm getting ready to list are also going to be a part of your recurring monthly expenses. So let's start off with office space, office rent, or co-working space. Then your phone line or some sort of virtual phone system. I advise to make sure that you keep your personal number very separate from your business. You do not want your clients having your personal phone number. You have to have internet. You've got to have Wi-Fi. So again, if you have a brick and mortar, if you have a physical space, in order to be able to have telehealth services, to use your virtual phone line, then you're going to need Wi-Fi. You can also throw on this list liability insurance. Now, liability insurance can either go under monthly recurring expenses, biannually, or annually, because you can choose the frequency in which you make your payment. I choose to make my liability insurance payments once a year, but I do have the option to pay it on a monthly basis. Then you also have like your marketing tools, so different directories, website hosting that you use, email list platforms. There's kind of a variety of things, whatever that you use to market your practice. All right, now let's get into the quarterly costs. The quarterly costs are the expenses that are not going to hit your account every month, but you still need to make sure that you plan for them. And the two main ones that we're going to talk about today, the very first one are your estimated taxes, federal and state. If you are self-employed, which if you're going into private practice, that will be the case, you will need to make sure that you are paying these quarterly taxes. Don't mess with the IRS. These estimated taxes will be based on your income, due every 3 months, and if you miss out on it, there are penalties. The second one is bookkeeping or accounting services. Now, this is something that you can choose to outsource. If you do, it will be a quarterly cost, but it's also something that maybe at first you will choose not to outsource, or you may never outsource and you end up doing your bookkeeping and accounting yourself. What I will absolutely suggest under this category is making sure that you find yourself a CPA so that when it comes time to do taxes, you are making sure that everything is done right and no one is coming for you after the fact. Now, let's talk about annual costs. These are your once a year expenses, but they also tend to be the hefty expenses. Make sure that you build them into your budget. First, your business registration or LLC renewal is something that you're going to be paying for once a year. Then, like I mentioned earlier, if you don't choose to be on a monthly rotation, every year you will owe for your liability insurance. Then you have continuing education credits, licensing fees to make sure that you're renewing your LCSW, LICSW, LPC, those kinds of things. I know every state is different. Some states it's every year, some states it's every 3 years, some states it's every 2 years. And you also have your website domain. This is something that is on an annual rotation. And if you are a part of any professional associations, APA, NASW, etc., then you also want to make sure that you build this fee into your budget because they're also taking payment annually. Lastly, how about your as needed costs? So these are the things that kind of pop up here from there. Again, if you have a physical office space, toilet paper, do you need snacks in the office, cleaning supplies, printing paper, ink, office furniture upgrades. You can also throw in there tech replacements. You might need to replace your laptop, your desktop, your printer. Then we have legal consultations, which I have had to use a few times. That is something that pops up here and there as needed. If you don't go for an admin assistant that you pay on a biweekly basis, you might decide to utilize a virtual assistant as needed, and so you'll have to pay them whenever you use their services. Then make sure to throw under this category any marketing, ads, things like that you use to just make sure that you get your business name out there. And lastly, supervision and consultation. This may be something that you have to pay for. This may be something that you may not. So, what does this all mean? It means that going into private practice is not just about setting your rates, it's also about knowing your numbers. So before you decide to go solo, go ahead and map out these expenses. Some of the expenses you're not going to know exactly everything that you need before you go into private practice. But again, if you have watched this video, I have given you pretty much the important things to make sure that you consider. And also reflect your financial reality, because you don't just want to build a business that's aspirational. We love that, but you also want to build a business that's sustainable. If you are serious about building your private practice and setting up systems in a way that actually works, then make sure that you like, you comment, but most importantly, you subscribe. Till next time.